All right, so we're going to talk about all the details of Seint from start to finish. I'll be showing you my routine, starting with skin, eyes, and then we'll get into the hack, which is the fun part. So I'm going to start, I've got a clean face. I'm going to start with my Seint moisturizing cream. Just pump it out. One pump is plenty. The packaging, this is an older packaging one, but I don't have it lasts so long I haven't had to buy a new one yet for the new packaging. So this will plump and moisturize your skin, provides a good kind of base for your 3D foundation. So I like to let this set in before I do my face makeup. So I will start with my eyes. While I'm getting my face ready, I'll also get my lips ready. I've got the Milk lip conditioner. Comes in either mint or cherry. One of these tins just pops right into your, take the cover off and pops it right into your compact. And the next step, I'll be using my Perfector sponge. This is the pink older version. The new ones are gray, and they come in this cool packaging here, a little tin container. I will change out my Perfector sponges every 3 months. So just to keep it clean. So I've got my setting spray here, opening up the brand new one. This can be used before and after you apply your 3D foundation. So I'm just going to spray a little bit onto my sponge and just kind of dab it all over my face. And this will be a good primer for me. And as I wait for my moisturizer to sink in, let's do the eyes. So I like to use a primer before I put my eyeshadow on. I have hooded and oily eyelids, which equals creasing for me. So I either use primer, like this one is called Thank Me Later, or I use, this is another good one, the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer, or you can just use your highlight. So I'm going to use my lightest colored one, which is called Linen, and this is the one I use for brightening up my face. I'll show you how I use this later. So just going to put a little bit on to my lid. This kind of helps the shadows have a base and makes the colors a little bit more true. Okay, so I'm going to show you a 4-color eyeshadow look, and I have everything inside this compact. This compact is the used to be called the double decker, but now it's called the 3D 18 because it holds 18 full-size tins or 36 of the smaller tins, like the eyeshadows. So for my 4-color look, so I've got my primer on. I like to take the eyeshadow brush. I'll use the fluffy end, and I'm going to go into like a lighter kind of base color. So I'm using Rome. Rome is one of my favorites for this. I always like to kind of put a lighter base color on all over so it gives the shadows a good area to blend, because that might be a little sticky from the primer. And it's nice to do your eyes prior to doing the rest of your face makeup, because then if you make any mistakes or get any fallout, like I don't usually get fallout except for maybe some of the darker color shadows, then you can just clean that up easily before you do your face. So let's look at the brush. This brush, all of our brushes are double-ended. So this is the eyeshadow brush, and there's a fluffy end, and I call it kind of a pencil or bullet end here. So next I'm going to go in with my crease color. I'm using the color Bubba. Bubba is one of my favorites for my crease, and I'm going to hold the brush down at the end and just kind of windshield wiper in and above, a little bit above the crease. Because I do have hooded eyes, I keep my eyes open so I could see where the shadow is going to be when I open my eye. Because if I just put it in the crease, when I open my eye, it would disappear. So just a little bit above there, and just kind of lightly just windshield wiper that on. So Bubba's a nice warm, kind of a warm brown color. Probably my top color that I like to use. Then I'm going to clean off my brush. I can use a Seint brush cleaning tile. So you want to clean your brush in between your colors so then you don't have them kind of look muddy together. I also have a larger brush cleaner. This is what I use mostly when I'm at home, and then the brush tile is good for to pop in the compact when you want to go travel. So next I'm going to go into Zion. So Zion's kind of a deeper, I would say a deeper tone, and I like to put the deeper tone on in the outer V using the pencil or the bullet end of the eyeshadow brush, and I just do an outer V like this. And I kind of angle it towards the tail of my eyebrow. Gives me something to aim for. And then I'm going to take anything extra and just kind of lightly put it underneath my eyes as well. And I'm going to just go in and lightly blend that kind of up into the crease a little bit. I'm barely touching it because I don't want to blend it away, because it's almost like a contour for your eye as well. It can kind of help lift the eye. See that? So next I'm going to go for my shimmer color. And the shimmer color that I'm going to use today is called You Complete Me. And if you ever forget the names that you're using, just look on the back of the tin. Oh, there we go. And it'll tell you what the name is. And that goes for all the tins. Lips, colors, eyeshadow colors, all of that. So for my shimmers, I like to go in with my finger and just kind of pat it on the lid. You can also use our powder illuminators are really pretty as well. I use those for shadows all the time. I'm just going to go back into my Rome. Make sure my brush is clean here. Actually, I'm just going to use my finger. I'm just going to put Rome a little bit in the corner right there. And there we go. There's my 4-color eye look. Now we'll moving on to the face next. All right, let's look at some of the brushes now. So this is the detail brush. This is my favorite. If you're going to get a brush, I would suggest getting this one. It makes a good companion for all of our brushes. So, and I'll show you why in just a second here. There's 2 ends, kind of a fluffier end and a nice end for contouring. So let's go to the contour right now. So I'm going to take the wider end to use the contour. And contour is not as scary as you think. It might look scary at first, but you're really just kind of playing with shadows, looking for the places in your face that are naturally shadowed. And if you want to recede some areas, like this jowl, you just add a shadow there. So I'm going to go in with my contour here. I'm using the color Indigo. It's one of the darker ones. And I'm just kind of putting on a little bit, just dipping in there on the edges there. So then I'm going to find my cheekbone and just press this contour right into there. Yes, I know that looks scary, but I promise it won't be that scary. Then I'm going to go temple to temple. So you can see I didn't really put much on the brush, and I'm able to get all these areas. So temple to temple, and I also like to go underneath the jaw. I kind of erase that jowl there by adding a shadow. So it's basically all contouring is adding shadows to help recede areas or define areas in your face. So when I do my jawline, I always like to blend as I go, just so I don't forget. So I'm just going to go back. I might add a little bit more because I want to show you, actually I'm going to wait to blend back because I want to show you how I kind of have almost like a triangle right here. Get my hair out of the way. See where there's a triangle from the peaks of my eyebrows? This is my triangle of light, and that's kind of where I'm going to put my brightening highlight. So I've got forehead, under cheekbones, jawline, and this will kind of just give us a natural facelift. I'm going to show you how to contour the nose after I do the other highlights. So I'm going to go in next with my, what I call my main highlight. So when you send me your color match, I'm going to probably ask you, send me your selfie for a color match. I'm going to probably ask you what type of coverage you want. So if you want a fuller coverage, I'm going to recommend the buff brush. Maybe a light to maybe a medium coverage, I'll recommend the blush and bronzer. And then we've got the medium to full with the 3D brush here. So I'm going to go in, and this is 1 layer makeup. So I'm just going to dab my brush. I'm going to go with the bigger end of the buff brush into my main highlight. So the highlight and contour is kind of what makes up your foundation. So mine is right now is Sandy, and all of our foundation or highlights have coverage and color correcting in them. So with the buff brush, you're just kind of lightly just going to press it in, and I'm kind of going just where I don't have the contour right now. So I'm going to put a little bit in the middle of my forehead here, and then a little bit here, and then just a little bit more on my redness here. So I'm just going to add a little bit extra where the redness is, and then I'll blend it out a little bit better too. So you can see I just have the one layer. Sorry, I've got a squeaky chair. And I'll blend more at the end. Okay, so then the brightening highlight is going to go where I want brightness. So I'm using this linen, and I'm just going to put a dab in the corners of my eyes. And then I just like to add a little bit here and some down my nose, a couple of spots here, Cupid's bow. So basically anywhere that I want to brighten or bring forward. So those lighter colors are going to be coming forward. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the smaller end, and I'm just going to blend this lighter highlight just a little bit under the eye. And then I think I'm going to go in with another brush to show you how to blend the rest together. So since this is cream makeup, it's easy to blend, and as it's been sitting on my face, it kind of melds into my skin. It makes it easier to blend. Okay, now I'm going to go with the blush and bronzer. This is a really good brush for blending, kind of dabbing everything together. Then I'm going to end with blending my contour, that scary looking contour, just kind of flicking it up a little bit and then back towards my ear. Don't want to blend it completely away because then I'm going to lose my shadow and lifting effect there. Just blend into the skin there. So with that color, it has coverage in both the contours and the highlights. So there's the one layer. And I'm just gonna lightly blend a little bit better underneath my eye to make sure I don't have any fine lines that it wants to settle into. Okay, so you can see how scary that looked in the beginning, and now we've got covered. I prefer a light kind of natural coverage, so that's the look I'm going for. If I wanted, I could add more, but I'm gonna leave it like it is now. So as promised, I was gonna show you how to do contouring for your nose. So this is a really good tool to use here, your detail brush. Again, just kind of I'm using a special, well, it's a contour color called Shadow, and I like Shadow for contouring my nose. And I also like to mix it with the contour that I put on just now, just called Indigo, because sometimes Indigo, it pulls a little red on me, which you can actually kind of see it is actually pulling a little red. So I'm just going to add the extra here. And this is a really cool toned contour. So it's really good for nose contouring and making any contours if they're too warm for you, to make it a little bit cooler. So as you see, I just kind of laid it on the edge and it makes its own line. So I have a little bit of a, I don't know, it's not even on this side, so it goes over. So I kind of ignore that and you just go right on the edge where the line is, and that the closer your lines are together, the more thinner your nose will look. So now I'm just going to reblend that shadow into my indigo contour, and that helps with the redness of the indigo. I just melted all my tints today, so they're extra creamy. So when you melt your tints to kind of clean them up and get them smooth again, you don't have to usually use as much the next time you use it. So take a look at the face. We've got the 3D contour in. Our face is no longer one-dimensional. We've got 3 dimensions, but we're still missing something. So let's bring some color back to the face. So I've got one of my lip and cheeks here. This is called Cindy, and you can use all of these on, you guessed it, your lips on your cheeks. So I like to just dab a little bit just above where I have my contour, and then I go in and just kind of lightly press that in with, this is the blusher bronzer brush. I like to kind of go up, and I even go around to my temples, but it kind of just depends on what you prefer, whatever your face shape is or what you prefer. Some people prefer a more rounded look, so they put more on the apples of their cheeks. Some people go back a little bit farther. It just depends on what you prefer. So there's Cindy. And you can also put it on your lips as well. So let's do that. Cindy's just a light color, and I can just add more if I want it more pigmented. Okay, all right. So next we're going to go back with the Perfector sponge. I'm just going to put a little bit more of the setting spray on it. So the Perfector sponge is damp, and I squeeze it, all the water out, and then I kind of squeeze it into a towel too, because you basically just want to make it feel not like it's wet, but like it's kind of cold to your touch. So when I put the setting spray on it, I am helping set the makeup, but I'm also, if you happen to put too much on, which a lot of us do in the beginning, I know I did, it's going to help remove any extra product as well. So see, just took a little bit off there. So that's going to help set the makeup so it stays a little bit longer. All right, so let's add those finishing touches here. So one of my favorites is this Bella Bronzer right here. So Bella Bronzer is a universal shade. Anybody can use it, and it's sheer coverage. And with bronzer, it's kind of the opposite of contour. You're putting it where the sun would kind of hit your face and kind of give you that sun-kissed glow. So what I like to do, speaking of glow, is use, this is called the Glow Illuminator. So in traditional makeup speak, illuminator is what we traditionally call a highlight or highlighter. So I like to mix them both together. I just take the wider end of the blush and bronzer brush, the bigger one, and I kind of just dab into both of them, kind of swirl. This stuff is really pigmented, so you don't need a lot, especially if I didn't have the air on today. So the room temperature tins are extra creamy. So just get some on the brush there, and I just like kind of dab on the high points of my face. So wherever, like when I get sun, where it usually shows up for me. I don't forget the ears. Just kind of go across the forehead, cheeks, nose, a little in the chin, and then the neck as well. So the Bella Bronzer is really good for kind of warming up your face a little bit. And it's good for between seasons too. So if your neck is not matching your face, as most of us aren't, you can help warm up whatever area needs to be warmed up. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with my illuminator. So we have two type of illuminators. We have a cream illuminator and we have a powder illuminator. So for the cream illuminator, it's a little bit more subtle, and the powder is more kind of more glam, I guess. So I just use the Perfector sponge, and I'm actually using the color Rose Gold, and then what I'm using is actually one of our perfumes. So we have 4 perfumes. They're just called 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's infused into the Rose Gold illuminator. So I go on the cheekbones, nose, Cupid's bow, just those places on your face that just want to kind of bring forward a little bit. And I like to add a little bit above my brows too, just to kind of give it a little bit of that glow. And with the perfume, sometimes we like to just add some on our collarbone bones. I guess we have 2 of them, right? It's just a subtle shimmer. So none of the perfumes, in my opinion, are very strong. I'm pretty sensitive to smells, and I can wear it with no problem. So, all right, next we're going to do some setting powder. All right, so I've got the powder brush. There's a dense kind of angled end here, and then there's a kind of kabuki type end, like the kabuki brush, but it's angled. It's kind of a flatter end. This is actually one of my favorite brushes to use to apply my main highlight, and I just kind of stipple it on. It's really good for that. So I'm going to use my setting powder. This is Vanilla Dust. I just have 2 of them together because sometimes I use the bigger end of the brush to swirl them together. And I'm just going in with the denser angled side, and I just like to put this finely milled powder under my eyes to set. And I usually just kind of set in my T-zone. That's all I really need since I've already got the setting spray on. Once you get used to how much or how little makeup you actually need to put on, you really don't need a whole lot to set it because you don't need a lot of it. So I just kind of put it on my T-zone, and then usually kind of in the area where if I have to wear a mask, so to help kind of keep it on there. So this powder is really nice for like a pressed powder, just to put in your compact, carry in your purse. I've got the clutch wallet that holds some products in there, and I just will put some of it in there for any touch-ups if I need them during the day. So there's that. Now let's finish the eyes. Okay, so let's do brows first. So there's a couple different ways you can do your brows. This is the line brush. There's a spoolie on one end and then a firm angled brush on the other. And you can go in with your eyeshadow, or you can use contour just to fill in your brows. But even if you don't do that, I always suggest at least combing them, because sometimes you can get product in there. So at least it looks like they're all the same color. So I'm going to go in, I'll try the contour. So this is the shadow contour. I'm just going to dip a little bit into the end there. And I do have microbladed brows, full disclosure, but I'm going to go just add a couple hair-like strokes there. And then I will kind of fill in up here too, because I don't have much hair that's growing there. It's just mostly shaded. And boom, that's it. So another way you could do it is some people will dip their spoolie in and then comb it through. I don't usually do it that way because my eyebrows get a little bit oily. So another way is you can use an eyeshadow to fill it in. So I like to use the color Trust, which is this one right here, going in with that angled end, and I wiped it off the contour. I'll show you both ways to do it. And go, again, I start kind of in the beginning and just kind of draw some hair-like strokes, and then I just kind of go fill in. And if it looks a little too heavy, don't worry about it, because you can brush it out with your spoolie. So I just kind of follow the shape and just kind of fill in any empty spots. And then I'm just going to comb through, and that's where you can kind of get rid of any excess there. So I actually prefer the powder method for my brows if I'm going to use Seint makeup. Otherwise, I will use a brow gel. I like the Thrive Cosmetics brow gel. And I'll use either the color Audrey or the color Serena. Serena's a little bit darker. So next I'm going to go in with a waterproof eyeliner. And I like to tight line. So what that means is I put liner on the inside of my waterline on the top, and what that does is make my eyelashes look thicker. So I use a waterproof liner. Gotta find one first here. Okay, so this one is, I don't remember where I ordered it off of, but I think it's MQNY, I think. McQueen, there we go, McQueen, New York. And I always go for the waterproof gel eyeliner. So I just kind of pull up my eyes there and just go right at that base there. And what that does, it makes it look like your lashes are thicker without taking up too much space on the top. Eyes always dry out. So you can kind of see the difference there, just between the two. So you're not supposed to blink, but I have dry eyes, so if it transfers, then you just can kind of wipe it away. Okay, so just kind of look. You see the difference between the thickness. And if I used a darker color, so this is like a kind of a brown color, if I use a black, it would make even more of a difference. So your tip is it kind of look away from wherever the point's going. So then you can kind of do the liner without getting it in your eye or on your contact like I usually do. But again, you can just clean that up. All right, so I'll do the mascara next. And I'm going to use the Maybelline Sky High Lash Sensational, I guess it's called. There's lots of different eyeshadows that I like, or mascaras, gosh. I like this one, and there's the Thrive Cosmetic one. I really like that one. That's probably the one I've bought the most. That and L'Oreal Lash Paradise are all ones that I've bought several times. So technically, if you want to avoid smudging, start with your lower lashes, like I didn't with the other eye, but I will with this. So that way when you're doing your top ones, it's less chance that it's going to smudge. But if you do get mascara on your lid or on your face, wherever, like I usually will, just let it dry, and then you can kind of get it off either with a Q-tip or the spoolie end of your line brush, or any spoolie that you have. Usually it'll flake off. There's the finishing touches there. And I usually use a lash primer, and I didn't put it on tonight, but that usually will make it the lashes look a little bit longer, darker. So there's our finished product. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Bye.